Welcome to our October 21st, 2025 Membership Master Vault Series, presented by your Region 36 Membership Coordinator team. Tonight, we are honored by two distinguished guests, and they happen to be immediate past district governors. We will hear from them shortly, and I will introduce them, but I want to tell you all about what you are prepared to hear. We want everyone to stay engaged as we are going to expand your reach. AI for leaders, and specifically Rotary leaders, from curiosity to confidence. Tonight, I want to dedicate this series to one of our dear friends in Rotary, someone who was passionate about curiosity and also confident in his leadership. So just for a moment, I want to recognize our dear friend, past District Governor Dave Anderson. Dave, we thank you for all that you have done for Rotary, and we salute you. And we know you're continuing to empower and impact us and the world around you. Our next session for November is Navigating Membership Growth and Retention Strategies, where you will hear from not only myself, but our public image coordinator and our foundation coordinator. But I want to get everyone motivated to be engaged, and we are going to pull up a poll question for you tonight to get you into this session. So let's have that first poll question. And as I always say, thank you for those who are working behind the scene. So our Membership Master Vault question that we want you all to get ignited and participate in is, did you invite anyone to attend this important webinar for tonight? So please give me your answers. Yes, yes, and yes, that's what we want to hear. Yes, no, and I did not. So for those of you who did, thank you. And we had 28%. The next time, you already know what is going to be coming your way. We meet at the same time every month. So we look forward to you inviting someone. But for those who did not, we recognize that you have an opportunity. And for those that now know that you can, I look forward to you doing so. You see, I did because I spoke to a district last night, and they were for the first time aware that we broadcast this Membership Master Vault series and that they can participate. And that is a shout out to District 6960. All right. Now, I want to bring your attention, before I introduce our guests, to our current Rotary International President, who has some great words for each of you. So let's listen in to this distinguished guest and his video, words to all of our listeners for tonight.
Hello, fellow Rotary leaders. I congratulate you on your milestone anniversary. On behalf of Rotary, we are happy to celebrate this special occasion. Your club is the true spirit of Rotary. You create opportunities for service and show the profound impact we can make when we work together toward shared goals. Your devotion to our values is an inspiration. As we celebrate together, I encourage you to continue fostering an inclusive environment, welcome fresh ideas, collaborate, and champion diversity. And as we look to the future, I encourage you to explore how to meet the challenges for our times. Rotary's success depends on our ability to adapt and grow. This year, let's go beyond conventional methods, seek out new opportunities for connection and service, and keep Rotary to meet the demands for an ever-changing world. Let's celebrate our proud history while building a legacy. If we can do that, we will ensure Rotary's relevance for many more milestones to come. Congratulations again, and remember to unite for good.
Wonderful. isn't that inspiring that we hear from our Rotary International president that we hope to have live soon? So we look forward to many more words and many more inspiring opportunities to connect for good. So stay united. Now we want to move to our program for tonight, and we hope that you will learn more ways to understand artificial insemination. No, intelligence. See, I got you. All right, let's hear from our past district governors who are immediate past district governors. And I want to start by introducing Dr. Zara Sarani, who will come forth. And we will hear later from Peter Bosch, who she will introduce. But I want to say a few things about this distinguished guest, Dr. Z. She is passionate about Rotary. She is always providing us a positive persona, and she is a woman who I am so proud to call my friend. So now I turn it over to you, Dr. Z.
Thank you so much, Dimitris. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. So I am here, and before we jump into learning more about the artificial intelligence, I want to do a little bit more about what we did in District 5930 this last Rotary year. So I will have the slide up. There you go. Okay. All right. So this year, we Unite for Good. We created the magic of Rotary because it beautifully captures what membership is all about. It's about connection, collaboration, and community. Next one, please. Okay. And this is the photo from the zone. We just had a zone in the first week of October in Prior Lake, Minnesota. And you can see that zone is all about connection in motion. You can see our RI president-elect, right there in the front. And if you see the third screen on the third picture, he is among the audience, listening to one of the sessions at the breakout. So this is what zone is all about. It's about creating ideas, exchange of phenomenal sessions, and adapting and expanding its reach. Again, the next zone will be in Cancun, and it's going to be much bigger, and hope everybody is able to join because it's going to be a next level. And at the zone, they also award the awards for the Rotary year for the 24-25, and I'm honored to share that with you. Next slide. That this year, our District 5930 got the Membership Foundation Public Image Award, but the two award that I'm really proud of our district is the District of the Year Membership Award that we received this year, because we were able to stop the bleeding this year. Membership is always a challenge in all the districts across the globe. But this year, because of some innovative initiative we did in our district, so we got the District of the Year as well as the Innovative Membership Award for the year. So next one, please. So some of the things that we did this year focused, of course, on expanding our reach and engaging our members. So from the day one, we did the public image, like branding the shirts, so people feel empowered wherever they go. They have the Rotary rim front and center or in the back of the shirts. We did the ball games. And then we also encourage our under 40 Rotarians to join us in Ensenada, Mexico, because the Director Salvador arranged for an under 40 forum. So we were able to get good group of youth and under 40 from our district to attend that session in Ensenada, Mexico. And this year in 25-26, some of those Rotarians have stepped up and taken the leadership position in their clubs because of the learning they learned from those sessions in Mexico, in Ensenada. Next one, please. The other thing we did this year is every year we recognize foundation recognition. This year we did the recognition of membership. So we gave out stalls. The green and teal stalls you see in the picture is for members who are in Rotary for 15 years and up. Silver is for the 25 years and up. And the gold stalls, that's not too many, but you see 4 in the pictures. Those are for 50 years and up. And then we also recognize the major donor with the blue stalls, because we believe that attracting new members is very important, but equally important is engagement, because helping members find purpose, joy, and belonging That's the key. And engagement isn't just about attendance, it's about connection and meaning. And when we gave out these stalls, people got excited, they feel motivated, they feel that, oh, they meant something to the district. And I remember in one of the club, the father was the one that was supposed to get the stole, but he passed away. So then we awarded the stole to the son. And then and the tears came out of his eyes, thinking about how happy that would have made his father. So there are a lot of stories that happen because of giving out these stoles and recognizing the members for their services in Rotary. Next one, please. All right, again, and we also did another engagement tool in our district was passing the torch, like we call Fuel the Flame to End Polio. And this torch went from every club, whether they're a club of 3 members or 230 members. That torch, because of the AGs in our district, was passed on to every member and every club in our district. So that's also kind of created that excitement and engagement within our district. And then again, in the end, the torch came back to the district, the home club of the district governor, like Southside Corpus Christi, back to Corpus Christi, and we had it at the conference. Next one, please. And this is the picture that we did it throughout the year. We focused on membership. And we introduced Membership Olympics in our district. So we unveiled that at the first district assembly. And then throughout the year, we carried the theme of Membership Olympics. So when at the conference, we had the t-shirt made with the theme, we gave out medals, we had the podium just like first, second, and third at the Olympics. We gave out trophies. So all the funfair and flair was around the membership focus. And this is how I believe with the excellent team, our membership team, foundation, and public image, we were able to achieve all the recognition this Rotary year. So this was thanks to the entire team that made it happen. Next one, please. And again, this is one of the pictures at the conclusion of the conference. So next one, please. And then now, coming about all the innovation and creative ideas we did last year in the year 24-25. And then thinking about innovation, I'm excited to introduce someone who truly embodies that spirit of creativity and innovation. And he is my fellow DG cohort, like from 24-25, District Governor Pete. And Pete is a person who leads a conversation. And during the last Rotary year, he was the one that giving us ideas and teaching lessons on how to use AI. So we used, as a district governor, we used to gather every month. And, and some of the sessions were led by Pete because he was giving us the knowledge how to use this AI tool during this Rotary year for our members, for our engagement, and all different kinds of things we can use that. A little bit about Pete, I want to share with you. Pete is the immediate past district governor of Rotary District 6270 in Wisconsin. He's an engineer, a Navy veteran, and a long-time Rotarian. He champions practical innovation in service and fellowship, with a recent focus on how artificial intelligence can help Rotary leaders save time and increase impact. So without any further ado, I'll pass it on to Pete. Pete, take it away.
Thanks, Zara. I appreciate that. That was a generous introduction. So I am sharing my screen. For those of you who've seen this, and I'm starting my timer. For those of you who've seen this this presentation, for example, at Zone, stay tuned because there is some new material in here. One in particular at the end. So as Zara said, this talk is about how you as a Rotarian can make use of AI to fulfill your goals and your duties more efficiently, maybe faster, possibly better. We'll see. So I hope everybody can see this. In the process of putting this presentation together, there were some decisions that we had to make. AI is an incredibly vast topic. Image generators and coding assistants, data tools, credit card fraud detection. It's a really wide field. So what we decided was to focus on chatbots because that's most accessible and doesn't require any technical knowledge to use, at least not very much. There are a whole bunch of them, chatbots that is, so ChatGPT and Gemini and so on. Because it's the most widely used, the most recognized one, we decided to focus mainly on ChatGPT here. There are a couple of slides that you'll see that don't have to do with ChatGPT. I'll point those out when we get there. But most of the features that we're gonna demonstrate here will also work on other platforms. So don't think it's wasted time. And we're gonna have a lot of demos. I may have to skip one. In fact, I'm going to skip a couple here and there because this talk was initially a 40-minute talk, and we've got 30 here. So without further ado, okay. So with AI, there's some things that you need to keep in mind, particularly with chatbots. If you ask it for some information and it doesn't have all of the pieces it needs to produce that information, it will make stuff up. It really wants to please you, and sometimes it goes way too far with that. It's not as good or it's not as bad at this, bad about this as lately as it was in the beginning, but it can produce errors called hallucinations. So you want to double check any key facts in what's produced just to make sure that they're correct before you hang your reputation on them. Another element, bias in responses. So a chatbot is essentially the front end of an application. In the back of the application is essentially a computerized brain. It's a big network that's trained on essentially all of the contents of the internet and then some. So I don't know if you've noticed, but the internet can have some bias in it. They work very hard to filter out that bias, and for the most part, they do a good job. But just be aware that responses that are generated may have some kind of bias, and you may need to kind of re-level them. Privacy and confidentiality. Be aware that under certain circumstances, anything that you upload to a chatbot can show up on the web later. The reason for this is because a lot of chatbots, the large language model, the computer brain in the back, will train itself on experiences that it has, including conversations with you. So if you give it some piece of information that it doesn't already have, that now becomes part of what it knows. And if someone else asks a question that requires that information in order to answer the question, they will receive that information. And if they publish it to the web, well, that's how your information could get on the web. Now, most chatbots have a setting, and most of those default to not sharing the information that you upload. But it's important that you understand where that setting is. In ChatGPT, there's a little menu, and on that is settings, and then there is an item that says do not share or do not use my information to train the next generation. And that defaults to essentially, yes, do not do that. So you're safe by default, but that could change at any time. So it's best that you be aware of where that setting is for you. And I don't think they would change your choice. But if you're just set on the default, that could change. Anyway, there's another question, and that is how much do you trust the chatbot provider? OpenAI in the case of ChatGPT, Google has one, Meta has one. Anyways, they're all over the place. How much do you trust the provider? And that should be part of that decision as well. Learning curve. As you start to play with chatbots, you're going to probably be uncomfortable, and you may not pick the best possible way of asking a question, and you may get answers that you're not super thrilled with. But stay with it. different things. As you gain more experience, your questions will be better, the answers will get better. And part of the downloadable material at the end of this will include a link to an online course. It's a quick, easy, free course on how to phrase prompts, how to put them together. Can we get the first poll question? There we go. So let's see. How comfortable are you with AI? Looks like we're pretty much a bell curve where most people are in the middle three. That's good. All right. So we've got, actually, it's sort of settled out with just getting started, not so super comfy. So that's good. Let's see. Stop sharing, and maybe I don't know how to. There we go. Share the results. Oh, all right. I'm just going to tell you the results because I have to stop sharing if you're going to see it. We have one person who says AI is my best friend. We have 6 who say I'm afraid to answer that question, 16 who are just getting started, and 8 and 10 for the other 2. So another thing that's important is to retain your own voice. There have been studies that show that particularly in person-to-person sort of human communication, anything that sounds like it came from a chatbot is not going to get much credibility. So if you think about what you're trying to accomplish, if you're just putting out a sales report, no problem. Just, cut, copy, paste, and send is maybe probably okay. If it's a press release, maybe consider editing a little bit. Introduction for a speaker, you should really, really edit that heavily and make sure that there's warmth and humanity in it. And okay, the last bullet sort of speaks for itself. All right, so there's some concerns with AI note takers, and I'm going to talk about what's on top here, and you can skim what's on the bottom. There's a confidentiality risk if you're a convener of a board meeting and you've got your note taker going to create the meeting minutes. That's great because sometimes a board meeting will go off into some sort of confidential discussion that you don't want out in the meeting minutes. And as the convener, as the chairperson, you will know to edit those minutes before you put them out. But somebody else who's on and has their note taker going might not. And what you might end up with there is a relatively authoritative record of who said what, when, and about whom. So that's a concern you should have in mind. If you jump onto, let's say, Zoom, and this is Debbie High, who is a past district governor for District 5930, told me about a recent time that she had jumped on Zoom. She was conducting a board, or not a board meeting, some other meeting. And she had a third-party note taker. Somebody else came on with the same third-party note taker, and it bounced her note taker off. She realized what had happened at the end of the meeting and was able to contact that person and get the notes. But be aware that this can happen. And my guess is in 6 months or a year, it won't happen anymore. But right now, it's a thing. Also, sometimes people will send their AI note takers instead of attending themselves. And the question is that really what you want to accomplish? So at the bottom of the slide there are some policy recommendations, things you probably want to think about. All right, so today we've got a lot to cover. We're going to go from some warm-ups all the way through to some fairly advanced tools. So I'm not going to spend more time on this slide. Let's get going. So remember I said that behind a chatbot is computer brain that knows a whole lot of stuff, trained on everything on the web and then some. Let's try a few examples that will kind of pull some of that knowledge out. So we're going to ask it to summarize 3 ways that Rotary has contributed to global health. And you can see that the prompt there is really just kind of plain English. there are three pieces to it. The role, which is you are a Rotary historian, that tells it how to approach the question. And then there is a task, which in this case, the task is going to be explain the four-way test as though you were talking to a 15-year-old. And as you look at this response, you can see the words and the phrasing and the metaphors that use are really kind of, early high school level of communication. So it does a nice job of tailoring to the audience that you ask it to tailor to. And then the next one, explain how district designated funds work. So it's smarter than probably half of us here. And you see what you get is a description of how it's collected, what it's used for, when it's distributed, what you're supposed to do with the distribution, the TRF matching, a lot of the sort of secondary rules. One thing, early on, I said you need to check facts. In this particular one, it got the recent change of the 80% match, but it didn't get it still says 50-50 in terms of the World Fund share. Half of it comes to the district and half to the I'm drawing a blank. The other fund. It's not 50%, it's 47.5 now. So like I said, you need to sort of double check that sort of thing because sometimes it will get something wrong. So we're gonna kind of move on in complexity. We've got three more demos. One, we're gonna create a portion of a president's newsletter. Then we're gonna summarize some documents, and then we'll do some event planning. These are kind of there we go. Okay, we'll do a president's newsletter. We're going to ask it to summarize the service that we've done this month. Winter coat drive, a meal train, and a practice interview session with Interact. And it's going to generate 3 paragraphs with details of each one that, if it's all correct, you could probably drop into your newsletter with some light editing. And incidentally, if you have an ongoing, and I hate to say this, but ongoing series of conversations, let's call it, with ChatGPT, if you have talked to it about the practice interview session or the winter coat drive, it keeps that information in mind, and it will add that in this particular case. All right, the next one, summarizing and clarifying documents. Okay, this is kind of fun. I don't know about your club's bylaws, but I have seen bylaws that look like they were written by a hopped up attorney on caffeine and overeager and looked something like this. Now, you won't get through the whole thing, but you'll read far enough to see how thick it is, and it's really incomprehensible to most normal humans. So we're going to ask it to clarify this, to summarize it, and we are going to paste the text that is so confusing into the prompt. And there it is. So now we'll hit the go button, and it will give us 3 paragraphs that pretty simply describe what that thick block of text was trying to tell us. So it's a nice way to take a contract, for example, and turn it into plain English, so you can at least do a once over and understand the broad strokes. So the next one we're going to do is, now as district governor, I probably had to do 15-ish or so, maybe a few more talks on various topics. And the first cut of that talk comes very, very simply through AI. Now, we're going to use a real simple example, a 1-minute speech about the value of every Rotarian every year. But this, trust me, when you try this, you will find that this works on more complex and more in-depth topics, works quite well. So it will create this proposed speech, and it will think for a while, apparently. Okay. So now as it's coming out, remember I said about how you want to make it your own. You want to use your own voice. Let's say you read this and you're like, well, I like generally what this is saying, but structurally, I'd like it to start with a stronger hook, right? I want it to start with something that grabs people a little tighter. So you ask it to do that, and it will rewrite the start. And you can do this as many times as you want until you get what you're looking for. And you can be more and more specific. Now, let's say at the end, you're like, okay, I want to give them a quote that they can take away, something that will stick with them. You ask it to do that. You can see you can structure the talk any way you want. And that gets the broad strokes down. And then you can go in and do the more detailed editing to use, personal metaphors and things like that. So now we've got a few more that we want to do. One is refining global grant submissions, and that may not be key to everybody on this call, but think more in terms of the kind of work it's doing, reviewing something for what it expects to find in there. In the case of the global grant submissions, there's a lot of material out on the web about what a global grant should look like. And so let's look at that. What we've done is we have created, or we have pulled down from District 7080 a sample global grant application. And you can see in here there's a fair bit of information, and it's pretty thoroughly filled out. And so let's say we think we're ready to send this into to RI. So what we do is we will drag and drop this document onto ChatGPT, and we will ask it, as a global grant officer, review it and tell me what a global grant officer would say. And as we scroll through it, you'll see the kind of things it's pointed out. And these are very much the kind of things that the first 2 or 3 or 4 go-rounds with a global grant submission will focus on before you get down into the sort of the nitty-gritty details. And because of the fact that global grant officers are quite busy and have a pretty deep queue of emails that they have to work through, this can shorten your approval cycle time by quite a bit. So the next one, let's say you are the Rotary Foundation Committee chair, and you've got several global grant proposals, and you want to understand them better comparatively because maybe you have a limited DDF that you can apply to them, or maybe you have limited time in your workday you can apply to them. But let's look at this. We've got 3. One is borehole wells in northern Uganda and some details about that. And you can drop the actual grant file in here. Community midwife training in Guatemala. Like I said, you could drop in the actual document that you would otherwise send to RI. What we've got here is just kind of a little bit of an abstraction for the case of the demo. So you've seen generally what's in each of them. So we're going to take each of those 3, and trust me, all 3 are in here, and we're going to drop them into ChatGPT, and we're going to ask it to highlight the weaknesses in each of the 3. And as I scroll through what it generates, you'll see that it really is fairly insightful analysis. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do, we want to rank them by alignment with Rotary's areas of focus. Let's say this is the basis on which we want to do DDF allocation. So the midwife training in Guatemala is the most aligned, and there's the reason why, and the alignments it's leveraging. Clean water and sanitation is next. And then the sewing cooperative ranks third. And in each case, you can see why and where it stands. Okay. So the next thing, actually, this comes straight from my district governor year. There is a technique called red teaming when you have a public public image statement to make, in this case, a press release. And the idea of that technique is you want to sort of game out what the bad actors are going to say, how they're going to want to twist your message to make it say something that it really isn't trying to say. So I hope you've read the bullets on this slide. We're going to ask it to create the press release first. Okay, it created the press release. Now we're going to essentially say you're a bad actor. What are you going to find here that you can twist on? Okay, and it does a pretty good job of changing its perspective to essentially a hostile reader, hostile operative, I guess. And what we're now going to ask it to do is to revise the draft to ensure that they don't have those things that they could twist it with. And the reality of it is this was probably 6 or 7 go-arounds, and a more complex process than this, but I'm showing you this because this is kind of the broad strokes of how this works. I hope it gives you an idea of A, that you should red team potentially controversial press releases, but also that AI can help you with that. So there's another thing that you can do here. We did this at our 3-district conference a couple of years ago, and I thought I'd provide it here. You can do, in this case, the example is a club satisfaction survey. And the satisfaction survey looks like this. It's kind of like the RI survey, but we kind of cut it down again for the sake of the demo. And you can see that there are some questions that are 1 to 5 in terms of agreement and a bunch of free text. Now, what you're seeing here is the simulation of all the responses that people had to that questionnaire. And now we want to analyze it. So what we do is we copy and paste both the survey and the responses into ChatGPT. It will figure out how to correlate the two together. And it will give you essentially a report on it. So from this, we do a couple more layers of analysis, accumulating or culminating in a plan for addressing some of these shortcomings. Take my word on this. I'm going to have to skip through this, highlighting the top strengths and weaknesses and generating an action plan are things that if you decide to do this yourself, you can try these prompts, which are also in the downloads. So advanced tools and going a little past ChatGPT. There are knowledge bases and custom bots. Those are kind of the 2 big ones that I want to start with. In terms of knowledge bases, this is not ChatGPT. It's a Google tool called Notebook LM that I'm about to show you. And what we're going to do is we'll log in as our demo account. and we'll try it out. This is the experience you'll have as you first use it. Okay, it'll tell you that your data is protected. And now what we're going to do, create a new notebook, and we're going to drag a whole bunch of stuff into the notebook. And the stuff that we're dragging in is the reference material it's going to use. And that's a whole lot of governance documents from both RI and my district. And it will read all of these documents and incorporate those into its knowledge base. And when it finishes, we'll rename because it had to guess what the title would be. So we'll say it's District 6270 Q&A. Now we can start throwing some questions at it, like explain our succession plan for the DG line. And you'll notice that what it comes up with is not just the normal succession plan where the DGE becomes the DG and the DGN becomes the DGE and so on, but it also talks about what happens if somebody in that line is either steps down or is disqualified. So it's a fairly in-depth treatment based on everything it knows from the sources you've dropped in. In terms of a quorum in a board meeting, it doesn't know which kind of board meeting, whether it's a committee board meeting, I guess that's a thing, or the district board meeting or a club board meeting. So it gives you essentially everything it knows. Now, one thing that you notice, these little circles here, if you click the circle, like the one that has 17 in it, it will take you to the piece of the source document that gave you that piece of information. These are very hardened against hallucinations. And so it makes it very easy for you to double check the facts in the answers that it gives you. So I hope you're kind of watching this as I talk. All right. So the things that you could do next, learn the download. I've got a takeaway sheet. I'll give you the download URL in a couple of minutes, a couple of slides. There's a link to a course called prof.ai, and it's a very good, very easy and free course on how to write a prompt, how best to write a prompt. The next thing, take something that you do that you think might be able to be done in AI or with the help of AI, and just do it. Do it this month. You know, the next 10 days, right? It's nothing focuses the mind like a deadline. When things work or when they don't work, bring your success or your failures to your club or your district so that other people can understand what works and what doesn't work. The Rotary has an AI Rotary Fellowship. Again, the details are in the takeaways. Or start a group who in your district. Be responsible, check your facts, respect ethics, and make sure that folks that you encourage to use it also do. Some of what's in the takeaway goodies, I'll let you read this slide. There's quite a bit up there. And if you look on the right-hand side, the top 100 use case, you probably can't read that, but my guess is you can read this. Therapy and companionship as number one kind of surprised me, but organize my life, find purpose, enhance learning, generate ideas, creativity, all that stuff is applicable to your Rotary world. So I think in the top 100, you can find a lot of stuff. So we have 21 seconds for questions and conversation. I apologize for that. If you scan this URL or this QR code, or write down this the URL that's underneath it, that'll give you access to a whole ton of material, the stuff a couple of slides ago. And I hope you enjoy it. And if you have other questions or whatever, please ask me, and I will. You can reach out to me on the contact info on the left there. I am done at this point. Stop share. How's that? I saw.
That is amazing. And I see all of these wonderful comments and some of the Q&A that I just acknowledged as well. but they have really enjoyed this. And we encourage you all to put out some Q&A questions and or answers. But Peter, this was fabulous. We definitely want to have you back on one of our future series. I understand that individuals are saying it was a tremendous presentation. Please share the slide deck and some of the content.
I will.
And we should have used that last AI question, because of the fact that this is a great course. And we thank all of those individuals who have joined. Dr. Z, if you're available, come back on as well. We love having you both.
Demetrius, if I take the video out of the slide deck and send the rest, because it's huge with the video in it,
Yes,
can you make sure people get a link to it?
yes, we definitely. we
Great,
would
I'll do
love
that
to
afterwards.
provide that.
All right, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Both of you all did a tremendous job, and Peter, you can stay on as well. I think people will love seeing you
Okay.
and recognizing. What do you think that AI has done to change the work that you do? I recently took an AI certification course in statistics and analysis for healthcare, but what do you think from your profession as well as your Rotary experience this has done to impact your work?
Well, a lot of the demos that I showed came from things that I did during my DG year. I'm to the point now where I'm using it to do analysis of. So I have a speakers bureau, and right now it's fairly rough. It kind of scrapes everybody's speaker lists. And a lot of that is stuff that not everybody really cares about. So, there might be something, no meeting this week, or um, Bob talks about club finances, or that sort of thing. And I use AI to go through that list and tell me what are the topics that other clubs may be interested in seeing. And then those are the ones that go into the Speakers Bureau. So I use it for analysis of spreadsheets, membership information. If you go get reports out of my Rotary and you pull them down as an Excel spreadsheet and then let AI, you basically drop it into AI. And then if you have questions, just ask AI. You don't have to worry about, Excel formulas or sifting and shorting or sorting and all that sort of stuff. It's just for the most part, it's an excellent tool at doing that kind of analysis. Very useful as a DG.
I love that. So we see that it definitely can enhance our learning and our professional development in Rotary. So Dr. Z, have you seen that same response to the work that you're doing?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I know I was like, love to share because it helped me during the DG year, both personally and professionally. Sometimes we are told, okay, induct this member or do the leadership induction. And, sometimes you don't have a script. So I just go on my phone, pull up ChatGPT, put some prompts, and here you go. The induction script, no matter who I'm inducting, is right there. And the other thing I noticed professionally is like sometimes, I have too much content to deliver, like knowledge is like too much knowledge to share. But the time limitation is, like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And I would put this PowerPoint presentation together and it's like 100 slides in there. And I know I cannot deliver that within that 30-minute time frame. So what I do, I upload my PowerPoint to the ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, I have 30 minutes. Make sure which PowerPoint are important, critical for this topic, for this audience, and make it flow smoothly. And boom, I have 30 slides that are relevant to the audience and to the topic, and it just saves so much time. Honestly, it is the best thing I have learned, ChatGPT, to organize my flow.
Absolutely. I like that too. So definitely for time management, it could definitely help us, especially as district governors, because we're so busy with so many tasks at hand.
Great.
Absolutely. One of the other things that I love, Peter, is you talked about prompts and share, learn, lead, connect, and read. But what I loved about this is not only the topic of curiosity, sometimes there's fear. fear with any type of technology. What will it do? How will it work for me? And what are some of my anxieties associated? But you helped us to understand you can build confidence, not beyond, be farther beyond what we are curious in AI. So ChatGPT is a definite resource for all of us. And there are various applications out there.
You know, that's a really good point. And I think one of the best ways to not be intimidated by it is I think of it as an intern, right? It's very book smart. It maybe doesn't have the best judgment. It oftentimes you have to send it back to do it again. And I think once you sort of look at it as that kind of a relationship, right? I'm the engineer, it's the intern. I'm the boss, it's the intern, whatever. Um, I think the intimidation factor is much less at that point.
I like that. Definitely. I was just checking to again see if there was any other questions. Bruce asked though, where you must have come from a great district governor class. And you all both served and you did.
Bruce was a ringer.
And I'm going to ask this. Bruce had another one. Did you need to worry about inputting information and having it on the internet when you do so?
Right.
And
There are,
you
I
answered
do,
that. So
yep, I do two things for the sake of everybody else. I do two things. First, I only use tools that I trust. And there are plenty of them out there. I mean, it's easy to find them. If you don't know who makes it, I would probably recommend not trusting it and not using it. And I make sure that when I create an account with one of the companies that I trust, I go find that setting that says protect my information and double check that it says yes, it's protected. In every case that I've done it so far, at least in the past year, maybe it's been defaulted to yes, will protect your data, but just make sure, just double check.
absolutely, that's great. And you've been invited also to talk on a Zoom, possibly in the Philippines. So I see
Super happy.
he's excited to do that as well.
Yep.
In
It's a
India as
shorter
well.
plane flight. I like that.
Sarah, you would do that as well, right?
Actually, yeah, sure, I would. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe there's one more question from Neeraj. So he's asking, he's using the $20 per month ChatGPT model. Do you advise $200 model?
No, I see no need for it in what I do. If you're a business consultant in oil and gas, there's probably enough cash sloshing around that you could try it for a month and see what you think. But I'm going to guess that you probably won't see a lot of difference.
Absolutely. I agree with that as well.
Another one for India, that would be awesome.
Well, I want to
Happy to
say
do it anywhere.
absolutely. I want to say that this has been a fantastic series. We are honored to have both of you. We see not only your passion for Rotary, but also making sure that we continue to grow and gain information that it may be new to individuals around the world. We want to again thank all of our listeners and those who participated in tonight's series. We want to also remind you that this is recorded. So for those that you were not able to invite live, please make sure that they know that they can go to our website and still see and stay connected to all of the wonderful information that we provide. We look forward to seeing you in November. As I stated, our topic will be navigating membership growth and retention strategies, something we all need to know. And we will be doing that with our coordinators from membership, the foundation, and public image. So again, thank you for giving us a wonderful session, and we look forward to having you as guest again. Continue to do the good work, and let's all unite for good. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.